Hi everyone in English 2323, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your syllabus video. I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I will likely have to pause several times to cough, just having one of those allergy days, so just bear with me. I also want to note that I know it's not the spiciest information, it's not the most exciting, but it is something that's really important in terms of you as a student in a course being really familiar and comfortable with your syllabus, because for us it's very much a resource. So I want you to think of all of your syllabi that way and know that it's just a great tool to have information at a glance. So make sure that you're downloading it and keeping it somewhere, or printing it off and putting it in a folder, because again, it's just full of resources and information that in a pinch it's really good to have access to. So just some things to keep in mind as we go through. And I'm not going to read everything word for word because how boring for both of us, but I'm going to hit on some particular areas. And again, probably having to pause and cough, or pause and deal with a whiny dog, so just be patient with me, please. Alright, so this is what our syllabus looks like. I've tried to organize it in a very approachable way, and it has links here that will take you to the particular areas that you may be interested in. So if you scroll down, we all, have to share this information, even though many of you know it. My name and my email address. Always email via D2L because it goes directly to my email inbox, versus if you email me from your personal email account. It can sometimes go through a firewall. It can take some time to get to me. It's just a mess. So always use your student email when emailing professors, but definitely take advantage of D2L when it comes to communicating with me. I don't have an office location because we work remotely, but I'm happy to meet at the University Park campus if you are in the area, or elsewhere if that suits you. But of course we also have those student success hours where we can meet virtually, either at these times or if there's a time that works better for you given your schedule. I do have a general office phone number, but it's probably best just to use my Google Voice phone number during office hours if you want to reach out. I'll text back or answer if I'm able to, if I'm not in another meeting, but this is just a phone number we have to include, but also one that is very general. Alright, this is Dr. Kelly, who you would reach out to should you have any issues with our class, which I hope you can address with me, but of course, I want you to know who you can contact should that be the case. Alright. Here is an information about those important dates throughout the semester. Let me pause 1 second to cough. So you have these dates at a glance, and of course there's a link to the final schedule just so that you have that all available. And here's information about our course. And so of course it's a survey of British literature, and it's the later periods from the Romantic period on. So we have to work through all these different facets of the course, but for our specific section, I want you to be aware that, we are dealing with more than just literature as it is. We're thinking of different styles, we're dealing with different identities. I always use intersectionality as a theoretical lens so that we're thinking of how are things like class and sexuality and ethnicity and race, ability, how do all of those come into question, and how are those addressed in constructions of power and oppression within these texts, right? So some things to just kind of keep in mind. These are our course learning outcomes. Those are, things that we want to accomplish this semester. And then always think about each course has a different kind of set of expectations. So for our course, think about, 8 hours of online instruction. So that means, time you spend reading, time you spend accomplishing different tasks related to the course. This is going to be different for everybody. We have some readings that on the surface look really short, but actually take quite a bit of time to work through. So just remember that this literature is time consuming in some ways, and I don't want you to approach it as, here I have 20 pages I need to read immediately. I want you to break it down, take it easy, and really engage with those things you read, and that can take time. So make sure that you're looking at the technology requirements and the technology skills related to taking courses online. We want to have different comfort levels with some of the basics and be comfortable with using the technology that helps us be successful in the course. Here are some of those links that are important just to have. My Lone Start, D2L. Remember, you want to use Chrome as your web browser and clear your browsing data pretty frequently, but have these links bookmarked. Make sure you've completed that online student orientation and you have a link to VLAC, of course. So here are course materials. I always recommend the ebook because it's more affordable and it's just easy to maneuver through, but this is the print version. So understand that there's not a print version of just this book and there's not an ebook version of just this book, you know, so this includes the major authors from the earlier period and this period, and then the printed text is the major authors volume 2. Don't worry about any of that. Just know that if you want to purchase the electronic or purchase the print text, those are available either through the publisher here or through our bookstore. All right. This is the way that the grades are broken down. We're getting to the nitty-gritty, right, of our course. Please double check my math for me. And so any of these things with asterisks means you will get more detail and likely another video to explain the information. So this is a document that just has information at a glance. This is just how things are broken down. Much more will be coming. Grades are broken down based on points. So you'll see points in our D2L grade book, but those of course are based on a percentage. All right, so most of our grade is discussion and participation. So it's just about being present and being active in our course. That really is the key to success. So we'll have various assignments associated with that. And then our big writing assignment is actually going to be a journal collection. You'll submit various reading journals that are assigned throughout the semester. And then towards the end, you'll collect some of those, revise them, revisit them, edit them, and submit those as a final submission. And then we'll end the course with a multimedia project, which is a lot of fun. I love ending the semester this way because it really just allows you some creativity. So there is some writing involved, of course, but it allows you to create something artistic based on something that we've covered and learned in the course. And it's just fun. It's instead of ending with, you know, a final exam, you're going to be dealing with plenty of those, I'm sure. So this is just something a little bit different. This is how our grades are broken down visually. Sometimes it's just helpful to see that. Oh, 1 second to pause. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right, and so here are some basic breakdowns of those different assignment categories. Again, much more information to come, but just at a glance, you can take a look here. This is how final grades are calculated in terms of points and letter grades. Now we get into more of the specific stuff. So attendance and participation are just so important for an online course. Your grade will definitely suffer if you are not regularly logging into D2L and just completing those weekly assignments. If you don't log in and complete assignments for 2 consecutive weeks, I'm just going to assume that there's something going on in your life that is pulling you away, and that the best thing for you is going to be being dropped from the course so that this doesn't negatively impact your overall GPA by getting a poor grade in the course. So just make sure that you're touching base with me, especially if something's going on. You don't have to share anything personal, but letting me know that you're experiencing something will mean that I won't automatically assume that a drop is going to be the best option. So make sure you're taking some time to read through all of this stuff. It is very important, but I don't want to take time to read it word for word because sometimes you gotta just take some time to sit and let this information marinate, right? So if you have course questions or concerns, there is that Q&A discussion area of D2L. My thought process is if you have a question about the course, chances are one of your colleagues is going to have that same question or something that's related. So posting in that area is helping yourself, but also helping others. You can post anonymously should you choose, and you can also answer one another. If you feel really confident in the answer for somebody, then by all means jump in there and answer that question, but I'll be in there regularly. If you have something that's a bit more individual, then of course shoot me an email. Please include the pertinent information. We teach a lot of courses, so just help me place you and help me get the fastest response to you by providing this information. There are times that I will respond very quickly. I'm checking my email regularly, but then, especially on the weekends, I am infrequent. So just make sure that you're keeping that in mind. Also, when you're communicating with me and with colleagues, make sure that you are, double checking tone, double checking those kinds of things. I'll get to that a bit more in a second. But note that there's also a student-only chat area in the discussion board that I don't have access to, so you can jump in there and get to know one another, share contact information, create a group chat, that kind of thing. I tend to say I don't accept late work in the course, but there are some caveats to that. So for discussion posts and D2L, because those are meant to be like us having a conversation together in a class, those don't have any extended deadlines. Those are just due when they are due, and they need to be posted on time so that we can react and have our responses ready to go. But for those things that you upload in D2L, there is a 48-hour grace period. So for things like quizzes, for those journal assignments, those are things where I just give you a grace period should anything happen with technology or an emergency. There's no judgment there. You don't have to explain it. You have that grace period, but it doesn't apply to discussions in D2L. I leave PackBack here because we used PackBack previously. We're still trying to negotiate our contract. I'm hoping it comes back, but you never know. So take some time to look through this information. It's really absolutely necessary to be respectful in every class, but particularly in an online course requires a different level of attention. We cannot see one another face to face. We can't get those cues from body language, eye contact, nonverbal cues. So make sure that you are double checking your tone, whether that is to an email to me or to a discussion post, a response to colleagues. Because we are a diverse community, we want to make sure we are respectful, and that is also something related to being respectful of identities. Let me pause 1 second to cough. Please utilize colleagues' chosen names and chosen pronouns. That's really why in our discussion posts I not encourage, I require that we put our names in the subject lines, and if you choose to, those pronouns, because that is part of respect, right? That is something that is key to developing a sense of community and a sense of comfort with one another. Any inappropriate interactions will be addressed by me. If you see it as somebody in a discussion post or anything, please reach out and let me know. I may not have gotten to that post just yet. So help me identify those issues that need to be addressed. So just things to keep in mind. And that goes right into diversity, equity, and inclusion in our course. Everybody should feel comfortable and welcome, and we should have a community that is respectful, right? Plagiarism is something that's really important, especially in online courses, that have writing. So make sure that you're familiar with all that plagiarism entails, including AI, ChatGPT, that kind of thing. I put here, these are tools that you can use to help, right? If you need some help brainstorming ideas, some thoughts on projects and revisions, that's fine, but you have to make sure that in your assignment you attribute those resources and that they are not doing all the work for you, right? That's not how we function. So we can use those things as tools just like Grammarly to help support us, but not the final word. And then below we have all the student support services. Please make sure you're taking advantage of these things. Like librarians want to help you, right? Those in disability services, advising and counseling, they want to help. And then there are also tutors that you have access to. You have lots of hours available to you. And then we have all the Lone Star College policies. So take some time to read through that information. It's really important, and just because I'm not reading it word for word doesn't mean you should avoid it. Take some time, Let me know if you have any questions. Let this stuff marinate, and good luck this week.